You are at a gathering. How is it going? Someone asks. Good, are you? You murmur. Then there was quiet. Uncomfortable. You look at your phone. They leave. Everybody has been there. It feels compelled to engage in small talk. Perhaps you think too much about it. Perhaps you are at a loss for words. However, small conversation does more than just fill the void. It makes you feel more at ease and facilitates the development of relationships and friendships. The good news? Anyone can improve their skills. You do not have to speak flawlessly or be gregarious. Just a little practice and a few easy tips. We will explain exactly how to achieve that in this video. How to confidently strike up a conversation. How to sustain them. What should I say? When you lose your train of thought. How to make small chat more enjoyable and less unpleasant. By the conclusion, you will have the skills necessary to navigate any social circumstance with ease. Comment below if you have ever found small talk difficult. What do you find most difficult? Does it have the ability to speak? Continuing the discussion? It would be wonderful to hear. Additionally, remember to use the like button if this video is helpful. Many people believe that short chat is useless. Just rambling remarks on the horrible traffic, the weather, or plans for the weekend. However, that is untrue. Small chat is the beginning of a conversation. It serves as the cornerstone for genuine relationships. You lose out on opportunities if you neglect it. Imagine meeting someone for the first time. A friend's friend, a student, or a coworker. You will not dive right into complex subjects. Light is started by you. That is the beginning of friendship. If a connection is found, you test the waters and proceed from there. Networking is no different. Those collaborate with those with whom they are at ease. You stand out if you can strike up a conversation. You are more approachable. You make a more favorable impression. That may lead to unexpected opportunities, partnerships, and jobs. Small chat is essential in relationships as well. It is the way people connect. When you first meet someone, you do not immediately share your innermost thoughts with them. You make jokes about your addiction to coffee. You chuckle over a common experience. You make brief remarks to each other. It may appear insignificant, but it develops a feeling of familiarity. Let us also discuss initial impressions. You have roughly 10 seconds to make an impression when you enter a room and meet a new person. It is strange to be silent or rigid. However, the entire atmosphere shifts if you can begin with a light-hearted, amiable remark. You come across as approachable, self-assured, and open. Missing out is the result of avoiding small chat. On possibilities, friendships, and facilitating more fluid and organic daily encounters. The good news? To be good at it, you do not need to be naturally talkative. Before we discuss tactics, let us shift our perspective on small chat. Many people claim to detest small chat. It comes across as forced, phony, or time-wasting. However, that is untrue. Saying irrelevant stuff is not the point of small conversation. It is the beginning of a discourse. It is how relationships are formed. Consider it a kind of warm-up. You would not lift the heaviest weight to begin a workout. First, you would stretch. Conversations are no different. Conversation starts with small talk. People feel more at ease because of it. Naturally, it leads to more complex subjects. Furthermore, small conversation is more than simply words. Energy is the key. Just a basic, "How are you today?" It could just be a courteous remark. Depending on how you phrase it, it could also be the beginning of a genuine conversation. The conversation ends if you come out as bored. It goes on if you sound interested. Have you ever had a light-hearted conversation turn into anything unexpected? It is possible that someone you spoke to at an event helped you find a job or an opportunity later on. Perhaps you struck up a new friendship with a remark you made in a group context. These incidents occur frequently. It is small conversation that enables them. The finest part comes next. No one needs to be impressed. You do not need an engaging story or the ideal humor. Being the most interesting person in the room is not the goal. It all comes down to being personable and putting them at ease. Small chat should be viewed as an opportunity rather than a duty. Every encounter is an opportunity to build relationships, pick up new skills, or simply liven up your day. Now let me discuss the first essential skill, striking up a conversation. The hardest thing is this. What are your thoughts? How can you avoid sounding uncomfortable? The good news is that it is not as difficult as you would assume. A perfect line is not necessary. All you need is an excuse to speak. The simplest method? Make use of your environment. One can always find something to say. Everything that seems natural, including the setting, the occasion, the cuisine, and the climate. You may remark, this place has great coffee, if you were in a coffee shop. Are you familiar with this place? Try if you are at a work function. These things sometimes be too much to handle, do not they? Easy, informal, and simple. Asking a simple query is an additional choice. It need not be profound. How are you finding the day? It functions perfectly. One excellent question to ask in a group setting is how everyone knows one another. Individuals enjoy discussing themselves. They will accept it if you give them a chance. Conversation starters can also be derived from shared experiences. You could remark, it seems like this line never ends, while you are in line. You may say, it is always tricky knowing where to start at these things, if it is a social gathering. It gives the impression that you and the other person are in agreement. Here's the trick, though. The words are not important. The way you phrase them matters. Even the greatest conversation starter will be ineffective if you mumble and avoid making eye contact. However, people will react if you say something straightforward, confident, and smiling. Speaking of striking up a discussion, let us discuss how to do it. It is one thing to strike up a conversation. Another is making it seem natural. Breaking the ice is the first step in that process. The more quickly you can put someone at ease, the more easily the conversation will flow. An effective icebreaker makes people feel at ease, which improves their response. Making a casual observation is one of the simplest methods. It only needs to be about the circumstances you are both in, nothing extraordinary. Tonight, this place is full. It appears that we chose the longest line. I believe I have had 3 glasses of coffee so far today. This kind of simple comment invites a response. It is easy. There is no pressure. One more fantastic trick? Laughter. It only needs to be situational and light, nothing major. I am very sure I will have a birthday by the time we get to the register if you are in a long checkout queue. I believe I have already forgotten half of the names I recently heard during a social gathering. Tension is relieved by a little jest. Individuals enjoy conversing with people who make them smile. Then comes the underappreciated tactic of compliments. Small, organic ones, not the ostentatious kind. That clothing is fantastic. I enjoy the coffee you ordered. This phone case is awesome. When given properly, compliments make others feel good without coming across as forced, and they frequently spark additional conversation. You will have something to discuss if someone responds, "Oh, thanks, I got it in Spain." As an example from real life, suppose you are at a work function. These networking events always feel like speed dating, you say to someone. They chuckle. You inquire further, so what has led you to this point? You are actually having a conversation now. Or perhaps someone is having trouble navigating the menu at the cafe where you are. Tough choices, you remark. I have spent the last 5 minutes gazing at this. They grin at it. And suddenly you are speaking. You do not have to overthink it, which is the finest part. Being witty is not the point of icebreakers. Their goal is to make the other person feel at ease. Conversations flow naturally as a result. Now, how do you maintain the conversation once it has begun? Have you ever had a conversation that ends abruptly? You say something. It becomes awkward once they reply with a single word. You check your phone, sip your drink, and nod. The moment has passed. The issue? It was the wrong question. Many people pose unanswerable queries. Was your weekend enjoyable? Do you enjoy your work? These are good, however they do not truly spark a discussion. Asking insightful questions is the key. And open-ended queries are typically the best ones. Rather, did you enjoy your weekend? What did you like most about your weekend? Rather, do you enjoy your work? Find out what you like best about your job. Stories are prompted by such inquiries. They encourage greater sharing and thought. The environment also affects the best questions. At a professional gathering, you might inquire, what led you to pursue this career path? Or, what recent endeavor have you been very enthusiastic about? What was the most fascinating thing that happened to you this week, if it is a social gathering? Or tell me something interesting about you that most people are unaware of. Simple questions like what TV show are you currently obsessed with are appropriate in informal settings. Poor questions cause the situation to end. Are you enjoying yourself? Is okay, but it typically receives a brief response. What do you think was the night's high point? Provides more resources. Do you enjoy this location? Okay, but how do you feel about this place? Encourages people to express their views. It is not about posing difficult or in-depth queries. Asking questions that elicit a genuine response is the key. Here's the problem, though. It is not enough to just ask inquiries. You must listen as well. Half of a great conversation is listening. The finest conversationalists are not the best talkers, despite the fact that people spend a lot of time considering what to say. They listen better than anyone else. You can pose thought-provoking questions, but the discussion will seem pointless if you are not actually listening. Have you ever had a conversation with someone who was obviously not paying attention? Their eyes stray, but they nod. They answer, but it is clear that they are merely awaiting their turn to talk. Is not that annoying? You do not want to speak with them because of it. Now, recall a moment when you were actually heard. They responded, inquired further, and gave you a sense of being heard. Did not you feel good? How does one become that person, then? Start with modest answers. For example, oh really? It is intriguing, or even just a simple wow gesture, to demonstrate your engagement. The energy can be maintained with a well-timed no way, or tell me more about that. Making eye contact is also crucial. Looking at someone when they are speaking demonstrates your interest in them, but you do not have to stare. And then there is the large one. Do not interrupt. It is alluring, particularly if you have anything to contribute. However, interrupting others disrupts their flow of thought. Wait instead. It is evident that you are paying attention and not just waiting for your time when you even hesitate for a moment before answering. Asking follow-up inquiries is another tactic. Do not simply nod and ignore someone who says, I just returned from a trip. Where did you go? I ask. What did you like best about it? Would you return? Asking follow-up questions demonstrates your attention to detail. Additionally, they prevent the conversation from feeling like a rigid Q&A session by allowing it to flow naturally. Let us examine a little illustration. Let us say, I went hiking last weekend, to someone. In response, a poor listener says, oh, that is great, I love hiking too, and then begins to talk about themselves. Where did you go? Asks an excellent listener. Was it difficult? Have you previously completed that trail? One answer puts a stop to it. The other maintains the momentum. It takes more than simply words to listen. Your body language also matters. Although words are important, body language is as powerful. Even if you say all the right things, the discussion will not feel natural if your body is rigid or indifferent. Energy is sensed by people. They will sense if you appear closed off. They will sense your ease and openness as well. Posture should be checked first. You appear more friendly when you have an open posture. It entails keeping your arms relaxed and not crossing them over your chest while facing the individual. Even if it is not how you feel, a closed-off stance, such as crossing your arms or turning slightly away, can convey a lack of interest. Lean in a little when someone is speaking if you want to look interested. Just enough to demonstrate that you are listening, but not too much. Another important one is eye contact. If it is too little, you appear preoccupied. It is intense and too much. Natural, balanced eye contact is the sweet spot. Give it a try. Look at the other person when they speak. Then, every few seconds, take a quick look away and then look back. It does not feel like a staring contest because of this. The simplest one comes next, grinning. You come across as more personable when you grin naturally. It conveys warmth and comfort to the other individual. There is no need to push it. Simply unwind and wait for the appropriate time to happen. Another subtle tactic is mirroring. Feeling familiar makes it easier for people to connect. Leaning in, nodding gently, or using hand gestures are subtle ways to mimic someone else's communication style. It gives the exchange a more organic vibe. But do not be overt. It becomes strange if you copy someone too clearly. Additionally helpful are hand motions. Speaking with your hands occasionally gives the discourse more vitality. Just stay away from overly dramatic statements. Small, organic motions are more effective. These minor changes have a significant impact. Conversations flow more easily when they put others at ease around you. How you present yourself affects how other people see you. Better encounters are invited by comfortable, confident body language. All right? You are using body language, listening, and interacting. It does not have to be embarrassing to be silent. You are having a chat when all of a sudden there is a pause. The length is a bit excessive. You are under pressure to say anything at all. Your mind becomes immobile. The other individual looks around and moves in their seat. It is even worse now. Do not panic first. Everyone experiences awkward silences. The secret is to know how to deal with them. Recognizing the pause and restarting is one method. Simply take a deep breath and begin again. Simple phrases like "where were we?" or "I lost my train of thought for a second" are effective. Instead of making the situation awkward, it makes it feel normal. Using humor is another excellent strategy. If there is a prolonged period of stillness, a humorous remark can revive the conversation. It is not necessary to be a comic. We truly ran out of words there, even along the lines of "wow." The strain can be released with a grin. It conveys assurance. It facilitates the other person's relaxation as well. The go-to-topic trick comes next. You may avoid awkward pauses by keeping a few safe topics in mind. It may be a setting-related question, such as, "So, how do you know most people here?" Or something generic, like, "Have you watched any excellent movies lately?" Keeping things open-ended is crucial. In this manner, rather than ending with a straightforward yes or no, the conversation flows smoothly. A little silence is also acceptable at times. A brief silence does not indicate a breakdown in the discussion. It allows time for both parties to reflect and come up with something engaging to say next. The quiet itself is not the issue. It is your response to it. Do not worry the next time there is a halt. Take advantage of the opportunity to change the topic of discussion. A good conversation comes naturally. However, what causes it to flow? Identifying a commonality between you two. The secret is that Paying attention is the simplest method to accomplish this. Pay attention to the other person's words for hints. They might talk about a pastime, a location they have visited, or something they like. Great, it is your opening if you can relate to it. Otherwise, be curious. People enjoy discussing topics that fascinate them. It keeps things going with a straightforward "that sounds cool, how did you get into that?" Mirroring is another trick. This does not imply that you should imitate all they do. It is important to match their intensity and tone. Lean into their enthusiasm if it exists. Keep things relaxed if they are more relaxed. It makes others feel at ease and as though you share their interests. Then there is the traditional method, which involves popular subjects. Generally, things like travel, cuisine, movies, and music work. A simple question like "Have you tried any good restaurants lately?" might spark a fascinating discussion. And occasionally, a momentary shared experience is sufficient. You could say, "This playlist is solid," during a party. Are you aware of its creator? These meetings often seem twice as long when you are in a professional setting, do not they? Anything that forges a tenuous connection. A single discussion can grow into something more. At an event, striking up a conversation could lead to getting coffee later. A casual joke could develop from a shared chuckle about something unrelated. Small moments like these are often the beginning of friendships. But all conversations must come to an end, do not they? It can be difficult to end a conversation. You do not want to come across as impolite, but you also do not want to talk endlessly. A seamless exit creates a positive impression and opens the door for more conversations. The graceful exit is among the simplest methods. A straightforward "it was great chatting with you" statement suffices. All you need to do is add a brief "enjoy the remainder of your day," or "enjoy the remainder of the event." The next step is the exit. Make a suggestion if you want to keep the relationship going. "I will send you that recommendation, or we can get together again soon." Demonstrates your want to keep in contact. "I will look you up on LinkedIn if you are at a networking event." The contextual exit is an additional choice. It is normal to check the time, mention a duty, or make reference to another engagement. "I need to check in with a friend or have another drink before the next session begins." It feels natural. The majority of individuals pick up on it without feeling uncomfortable. Additionally, a brief compliment can be helpful if you are concerned about coming across as overly abrupt. Your journey was fascinating to learn about. I hope you enjoy your weekend. Gives the impression of a successful conclusion. Let us talk about conquering anxiety if you find small talk to be unsettling. It is quite natural to feel anxious in social settings. Even those who appear self-assured now most likely had difficulties at one time. The good news is that you do not naturally possess confidence. You have to build it. Starting small is crucial. You do not have to work the entire room when you stroll into a party. Start with little exchanges. Say hello to a coworker and ask how they are doing. Say something brief to the grocery store cashier. You get more at ease with informal discussions as a result of these cumulative instances. Practicing in secure settings is an additional tactic. Start in a relaxed setting if large social events make you feel overwhelmed. Talk to your neighbor. Speak with a friend's acquaintance. You can become accustomed to social interactions without the stress of in-person interactions by using voice or text messaging. It also helps to reframe anxiety as excitement. Remind yourself that the adrenaline rush you get before a talk is only energy. Rather than thinking, "Oh no, I am anxious." Try to remember that this is simply my body preparing to connect. Athletes have the same emotion prior to a game. Use it rather than resist it. Numerous accounts exist of people using small chat to overcome social anxiety. Someone who began asking coworkers about their weekends after previously avoiding interactions. After learning to start with a single, straightforward inquiry, someone who used to shun parties. Those small exchanges gradually grow into something larger. Additionally, it becomes easier with practice. Positive reactions from others support the notion that having a conversation is not something to be afraid of. Just like anything else, it is a skill. Concentrating on the other person rather than oneself is another useful tactic. Self-consciousness is typically a result of anxiety. We overthink everything we say and do. However, you will begin to feel less pressure if you turn your focus outward. What can I do to help this person feel at ease? What if I say something strange instead? Having a few go-to subjects in mind is also beneficial. Simple questions like, "Have you been anywhere fun lately?" might be used as a fallback if you ever lose your cool. Alternatively, "What do you look forward to?" Open-ended inquiries like this deflect attention from you and help talks flow naturally. Additionally, keep in mind that no one is evaluating you as severely as you believe. Most individuals are too preoccupied with their own problems to give your words too much thought. The likelihood is that they will not even notice if you make a mistake or say something uncomfortable. Small talk gradually becomes natural and ceases to feel like a show. Waiting until you feel confident is not the greatest strategy to overcome social anxiety. It is to speak up in spite of your nervousness. Action precedes confidence, not the other way around. Let us now apply this to other scenarios. Small chat is not limited to social gatherings or chance meetings. It occurs everywhere. Online, at social gatherings, and at work. It is also simpler if you know how to adapt to various circumstances. Small chat fosters relationships at work. It goes beyond networking alone. It is all about making the people you spend hours with each day feel at ease. Casual remarks before a meeting, brief conversations in the break room, or even a simple "How was your weekend?" can make a big difference. The secret is to be upbeat and lighthearted. There is no one who likes to begin their workplace with grumbling or negativity. When attending a networking event, concentrate on simple questions such as, "How do you know people here?" Or, "What has been occupying your time recently?" Conversations at work do not have to be exclusively business-related. Social gatherings create a new dynamism. Group talks can feel challenging, whether it is at a wedding, party, or informal get-together. Online conversations operate a little differently, so it is easy to join in by responding to what is being said. For example, you can laugh at a joke, nod in agreement, or ask a follow-up question. If the conversation changes, go with it. Do not worry about saying something profound. Most people are just looking for a fun chat, not intricate debates.